we are recording. Good deal. As always, I'm Brian Kynes, the creator of the Tales of Ulran campaign setting. We use all kinds of different tabletop role playing game methods, ranging from Pathfinder to Dungeons and Dragons to new ones that are coming out from people, such as the Dungeon Coach, which I believe is DC 20, and some other different concepts from different people that are big in the business to create our own homebrew that we're trying to create. We're in the process of writing our own called the Tales of Ulran, a TTRPG. And the awesome gentlemen that are here and joining me this Sunday afternoon are here to help me write this story one chapter at a time, using said rules that we are collaborating on. Okay. Bella is having a dinner with some friends. She will not be able to join us tonight, but she sent me a couple messages of some neat ideas and things that she can add to the equation, making sure that it plays out the way we think it might. Anyone has done this game or watched our show knows things don't always go the way they're supposed to. And things aren't really supposed to go anyway. So these are options, that she has given me in case situations arise. With that, we'll go ahead and do introductions. Let's go ahead and start with Colby, since we were afraid we weren't going to hear him.
I'm Colby. I'll be playing Arson, who is a Draken, and he is starting to embrace who he was and is going to try to pay for, well, at least help out the guild and help him unpay the price that it took for him to be here.
Yeah, makes sense. That works. Thank you very much, Colby. Mr. McGuffey, you're muted whenever you're ready. Go ahead. Or tell you what, you chew. I'll go to Jeremy. And Jeremy's Leighton. See, I can't win. I can't win. Jeremy, go ahead.
I'll be playing the part of Rook, our one and only nether scorned Voldros,
Yes.
who is, last I believe, currently trying to tie a rope off the ship down to the ground to help everybody get down that way.
Yes. We got there. Roselia brought us on the small airship, the Roselia's Eye, and has got ready to drop us off into God knows whatever kind of gardening the group's getting ready to get into, and getting prepared for his gardening. Mr. McGuffey's got his bibs on and got his hat on, ready to get in there and get dirty. McGuffey, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Dan McGuffey, I'll be playing Finthier. He is a Lunesti elf and a arcane blade, which is a very interesting order that is guardians, diplomats and such for the Elven Nation.
That's awesome. It's cool stuff. I love hearing that kind of stuff because it's all just stories that we've created together, and it rings. It's done well. It's nice to hear, Voldros Netherscorn, uh, Elven Lunesti, Arcane Blade Diplomat, and all this kind of stuff. It's just nice. Very, very cool. Okay, so at the end of our last episode, which was like 3 weeks ago, we had Labor Day weekend. Food and beer was involved. People couldn't make it. We've had different things go on, but now we've got kind of a free day here to continue this. Um, like I said briefly earlier, we were dropped off. We've heard all kinds of legends and lore from different people, especially a pair of uh, halfling workers that had been put on uh, semi-permanent leave until this grove has been eradicated. That were bitching and telling us all kinds of scary stories of the stuff that's going on inside here. We know that the grove is magically or arcanely um, preserved year round. That is always like an eternal springtime kind of temperature climate within the boundaries of the grove because of an ancient statue that lays there, which is a gift to the Brookwaters, which are the people that own this. The Brookwaters are also the owners of the Fighting Spirits Winery and Meadery, which is a pretty popular place in the city of New Gemdar. And because it's always springtime there, things that like to stay warm have gravitated to this place. And we've heard all kinds of interesting rumors as to what these things might look like. We've heard that they can, one of them could swallow you whole. What's some other things we've heard, folks? They came in term or think of anything that those guys were telling us.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
And so the funny thing is, so Rook thinking about this, you other talk about how there are these gigantic plants and it's just monsters.
Yeah.
And then Rook smiling thinking,
yeah,
I'm basically a monster compared. So
oh, this is good news. I think maybe I have classes coming. They weren't in there?
No.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you very much for looking. I'm going to continue. Okay. But yeah, true, because, you talk about gigantic flower. Well, flower, you hold up a little dandelion. So what exactly is gigantic to these people? Right?
like a video I seen the other day, it's like when you're dating a girl who's 5 foot or shorter, and she's got this big old burger. She's like, "You want to bite?" And he gets it, and it's like that little Krabby Patty burger.
Yeah.
He just looks at it and he just throws it in his mouth. She goes, "I said a bite," and he's like, "It was a bite."
Yes. I've seen similar things and I have partaken in similar acts, so I get it. What do you remember? What Finn picked up? Anything? If we haven't pointed out already, Danny, about what these things might be like.
Well, he knows that after talking with oh shoot, what's her name? Winona, that they definitely have a neurotoxin and we shouldn't inhale that crap.
Glad you remembered that. Good man. And that's what I'm getting to. So yeah, they were. That was one of the things too. And Colby, can you think of anything particularly that stands out that we haven't already mentioned? The fruits of your investigative, collective, you know. And if not, that's perfectly fine. You can't think of anything else.
The only thing else that we know of that hasn't been discussed yet was the fact that the blue ones may yield more reward. Blue mushrooms.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
I said the only thing that hasn't been mentioned again was that the blue mushrooms may yield more reward.
Nice. Yep, there was a special drink that you guys had that was made from more of the blue capped mushrooms. Good catch, buddy. That's awesome. So those were worth investigating going forward. Okay. By the way, Jeremy, that purple lighting on the side there is awesome. It makes you look like you're either at a rave or you're standing outside of a hotel. It's good shit, buddy.
I knew that.
Good stuff.
Had to use it.
No, that's awesome, man. I see all kinds of people with all kinds of cool lighting in the back. I've always just been good with this. It's pretty simple and standard, but I am going to get to a point where I do that sometimes, depending on how the scene's going and what's actually happening. So,
Going somewhere with plants.
yeah, a little green for the plant. There you go, man. Yeah, I like it. A little chlorophyll. That's our chlorophyllter. I like it. So I know he's clever, right? Yeah. So
It's just it's funny because I seen Phil and your mom, and they didn't recognize me because I'd shaved for the interview.
Yes.
And your mom was like, "Wait, I know who."
Yeah. And that's weird too because you grew that beard while I was kind of gone because you didn't have it when you were younger and stuff. So it's interesting to visit home and see people with like beards. Like, I mean, if I saw Jeremy without a beard, I mean, shit, I don't even know what would happen. I don't even know what would happen. Different creature altogether, I would have to imagine. All right, so having said all that, there was a rope. Who was the first one down? It was Rook. Okay.
Yeah, because I was fashioning it to the ground to give everybody a brace.
Okay, so Roselia hadn't taken off yet, but she was saying, was there some kind of conversation about she would stay there for so long, or was she going to do a fly around because it was very windy, and there was a lot of clouds and some rain possibly moving in? I seem to remember that she was going to drop us off and pick us up and want to know how long we would be.
She gave him a signal pistol.
Right. Good call. So you've got that.
Pistol.
Signal, pistol, right? Okay. And didn't you roll when we talked about some of the things that were in that? You have those notes?
Yes. I
I
don't think
know.
we went through like super specifics, but I do have the note of what was given to me and all that.
Okay. So all you gotta do is tell me what you're trying to do when you're trying to do it, and we will come up with it on the spot because that's how this game runs. I like it. It's all good stuff. So, um, when you get down there, and I'll go ahead and give you the fact that you were able to descend okay. For everybody, just for the hell of it, roll me either athletics or acrobatics checks, please. And what we're looking for is a 12 or higher with no ill effect. And the worse you fail at this, I'm going to describe how this deporting, what would you call it? Uh, jumping
Descending.
off the ship. I don't know. Tell you how it goes. What'd you end up getting, guys? Danny?
And
A 10. That's lower than a 12. Colby, what'd you get? He's muted again. Ha ha ha. That's awesome. So with your hands with numbers, tell us what did you get? A
22.
22 or a 4?
22.
Yeah, 22.
22. Okay. Pretty good. Jeremy, how'd you do?
Oh, I thought you said I got down there.
Oh yeah, yeah, but I'm just curious. Give me a number about how this all happens.
It was a dex check, you said?
Uh-huh. Or no, athletics or acrobatics, you decide.
Yeah, I can do that.
Tell
Athletics
me.
it is.
Okay.
With a 17.
Okay, 17. So the way I see this unfolding with the numbers we've been given is that you head down over the side of the ship. Now, I'm going to say that Arson was kind of hesitant to just bail over the side of this thing. And as you go over the side and you're pulling down the rope, when you hop off and you get at the bottom, you're sturdy and heavy. So when you do, all of a sudden the weight shifts in the boat. Okay? So as Finn is standing up, there's this rock all of a sudden that kind of happens, right? Which almost knocks Finn over the railing. Okay? So as he starts to do this, with rolling the high roll that Arson has, as soon as you start to lose your balance, Finn, and head over the side like you went to go for the rope, but you went too far, you feel a strong clawed hand on your back grab you right before you start to head over top of the rail from the rocking motion because Rook jump off the way he did. And it's Arson that caught you just the last minute before you headed over. Okay? That's what these rolls tell me. Everybody good with that? Okay. Interact from that however you would like. I like it when the dice tell a little bit of a story. If you two have some words, I'll get to you in just a minute. Rook, you've gotten to the bottom, and it's cold down here. Now we've talked about this. We're trying to get through winter, but we're kind of in uh, the a winter like season here currently. Okay, so nesting in the mountains to the southeast of New Gimdar is where she's taking you guys. And you know about this eternal springtime that the statue brings onto this grove. You can't quite see it from where you've been dropped right now, but you can see along the side of the mountain there seems to be a glow to a degree. Like you can see on the side of that on that crevice, because this goes into a path in between the lower stones of a mountain, and this grove is kind of protected by the face of the mountain and some other kind of peaks and smaller hills around it. So you have to walk just about a couple hundred yards to get up into the grove that's protected from nature by the actual stones and stuff at the base of the mountain. But it is in there, and you can see that on the side and faces that there's no snow accumulating. Okay, and you can see a little bit of a glow, almost like street lights off in the distance. Now, what time of day was this? Do you guys remember that? Was this early morning or was this late afternoon?
Early morning.
Early morning. Okay, it makes a difference. Okay. As you land, there is just a dusting of snow. There's not a whole lot on the actual ground itself, Jeremy. And with that check, you have several large rocks that you could tie that rope to secure it for them. You could just hold it yourself. You have a stump off of a tree that's blown over from the wind in this area. So you not a stump, but you would have upturned roots and things. What would you choose to tie off the rope, or would you hold it yourself while your friends come down?
I think he'd hold it himself. That way, if they seemed like they were going to kind of lose their grip, he could kind of whip the rope a little bit and kind of get them back on course.
Well, you see that at the top as you're looking down and you've got it kind of anchored. Do you wrap it around your waist, or you just hold it in your hand?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of like around his back. He's holding it with his one hand. He's got the other hand on it. That way, if he's got to let any slack in it, he can. But otherwise, he's kind of bracing himself with it.
Right on. As you do, you see Finn start to head out over the front of the ship kind of abruptly. And then at that same moment, you see the dark horns and face of Arson kind of look up around the side of him as if he's caught him. When you guys descend down, you see the same scenario. You have about a 200 to 300 yard path to walk through, and that'll take you around the corner of the mountain. And the reason why she couldn't drop you in, there seems to be a lot of very heavy cloud coverage down here. Roll a nature check for me, guys, collectively, and we'll see if you can figure out why this is. Or if one of you wants to do it with inspiration, have a conversation to make that happen. It's up to you all how you do this.
I've got a dirty 20.
Okay. About
22.
you, Colby? What'd you get? And every once in a while, Colby, if you want to try to talk, go ahead. But if not, just tell me your numbers. 10? Oh, no. Okay,
8.
7. Okay. So, he's like, nope. Okay, so hold on. Before we move forward, let's do this. Okay? If it's a small number, okay, you've got to do it on one hand. Okay? If it's a big number, like double digits, one hand is the first number, and the second hand is the second number. Okay? So, 8. Got it. Okay.
There's got to be something in your settings. Disconnect your headset and just go with the regular speaker.
And just so everybody knows, we were fighting with this earlier, and we were thinking about giving like Colby's character a cursed item that makes him like have mute, like silence around him at all times. And we were just going to play to this shit. So it just all depends. But it is what it is. And he restarted his computer earlier, and it worked for a few minutes. I tell you, man, you can't look at that dirty stuff in your computer. You're getting viruses, is what it is. And I mean, I know you're young, you're in college, you're doing your thing, but bud, the health of your computer is important. I'm just throwing it out there. So, with those numbers, Jeremy, what was your nature check, bud?
22.
Okay, awesome. Although, Arson, you're a bit lost to this as you've not been around this kind of environment for God knows even how long. You two realize that there are certain trickles of water that seem to be forming naturally come down the mountain because of the heated area below versus above. And it's almost creates some kind of steaming atmosphere, whereas the warmth of this eternal spring has caused like actually a little bit of flooding around the basin and bottom of this place, as when you walk towards the actual mountain itself, there are swampy areas that become flooded with melted snow water. Okay? And because of that heat hitting that cold air that blows in through here pretty strong, and you notice that, Rook, because when you're holding the airship, like she said, there are strong currents that go through here. Okay? It is creating steam. It is creating low-lying clouds. So it is foggy. Visibility is tough. Okay? tell me about how you release the rope, and I'll go ahead and let her continue off.
So what he would do is after everybody gets down there, he would take that rope, he'd put some slack in it, and then he'd kind of whip it. That
Okay.
way, once that wave kind of goes up to the top, and it would kind of snap against the railing there, to kind of let her know, hey, we're good.
Okay,
What's
I'll
up?
give you that just because you do so much. You've pretty much grown up on airships and working and stuff. I'll give you that, and you do that well. As it does, as the clouds, and they're moving pretty quick through here, you see the silhouette of her wave her hand as her hair's kind of blowing to the side, and you can see the ship starting to teeter off to the side a little bit as it's fighting to maintain its position. And it drifts off kind of sideways and heads back towards New Gemdar, doing a loop, and you guys are on your own right now. Azara is with you. I will be adding in notes if you guys wish to talk to her or have an interaction with her along this. Just talk directly to me, and we'll do what we can. I will say that she was probably the first one down right after Rook. Okay. So as she's looking around at the marshy ground and stuff, you see her kind of hike up her clothes just a little bit as she wears things. Sometimes it might be a little bit long or something of that nature. I know we haven't talked exactly about what her garb is, but I like to imagine there's some kind of shawl or cloak or something that she kind of pulls up and walks back through. You can see that this is not her natural climate. This is not where Azara is the most comfortable. But as she bears down, she still has on. Um, you know what? Let's roll. Since it's just us here, and we're out in the wilderness, and she had that conversation with Lydia, and is starting to kind of seek out who she is. As you see that wind blowing through the hair, she is taking on the appearance of Azara, which looks like the maiden from the Sands of Demir. But in that moment, I'm going to roll 1d20, and there's a chance she may take on a different guise now that we're not in a populated area, and she knows you all. Okay? And with a natural 20, which is awesome. Um, as you see the dark hair in the lightly, her eyes aren't a dark brown; they're almost like a golden brown. And as her hair is flittering in the distance, it's kind of neat as you're looking at her, Rook. You notice that her hair becomes silvery then white, and then you make out the form of onyx horns that come forth from the side, although not as large as some of the other ones of her kind have. They're small in stature, and she is in her true form. As she pulls that scarf around her neck, kind of up over her nose because of the wind, and she can see that she smiles from the squint in her eyes, and she says, kind of loudly, as she pulls it down real quick to say to you, she goes, I don't think no one will be around that this matters for at least a little while. You agree?
Absolutely.
Fine by me.
She looks at you all and she pulls it back up, and she starts walking off in that direction to this small mountain path that'll lead us to this grove. Any conversations happening between the group as we head that direction? Anything being prepared? Anything at all? This is your time to shine. Have a conversation.
I do know in the midst of walking and talking, Rook's going to be working on trying to load the flare gun.
Okay. And as you do, what kind of stuff are you loading into it based on the things that you were given?
She gave me the flare rounds, and then she gave me that just a handful of ammunition.
Okay, so you are going ahead and preparing the flare round.
I'm preparing the ammunition.
The ammunition. She gives you a handful of ammunition. And how many different ones does she give you?
I don't think would specify. She just gave me a handful.
Okay, so roll
I
me a
don't know if there
one.
was different properties or not.
Roll me a 1d4.
Okay. 3.
Okay. Write this down. You have 3 different types of ammunition, 3 different things. Well, no, you have 3 ammunition, and then leave a space beside each one of them, and I'm going to tell you what they look like based on 1d20 rolls. Okay? Ones being more basic and 20s being more extravagant. Okay? So, go ahead and roll me a 1d20. Tell me what you get.
All right, that's a 9.
Okay. This one just seems standard for this type of gun. Okay, nothing special about it. There is some basic kind of metal component to this. There are a couple things etched on it that seem to be runic. Other than that, it seems to be fairly standard. Go ahead and roll again.
That note down there. 5.
Okay,
Determined to get 1. Damn it.
this one looks as if it's like the magic bullet from the JFK thing. There's an actual chance that this has been refurbished and packaged again. Okay, and this one actually seems like it has a bit of a chill to it. It almost is strangely cold. So put down chilled and refurbished on that one. Okay, and give me one more d20.
Oh, that's better. 17.
A 17. Okay, on this one, you see the open mouth of a dragon carved into the side of the bullet, and there are swirled, like flame etchings that seem to be in circular fashion surrounding the other side of the bullet coming out of the thing's mouth. They almost look like they're swirled, almost like when you see oriental drawings of fish, the scales, or that swirl design that make the scales on the side. That seems to be coming out of the creature's mouth. And put down that on that one, dragon's breath. Okay. And then I need to do a roll. I only let you have so much control, sir. Okay. That's for me to know. Just a minute. Okay. Got it. Okay. Which one of those are you loading into your gun?
Knowing that we're going up against plants, he's
Uh-huh.
going to load what he can of the dragon breath rounds.
Okay. We're just going to have one.
Okay.
And when you do, what would you like to roll to tell me how well you're able to do it, since you are not necessarily proficient in firearms?
Probably a sleight of hand, I'd say.
I like it. Let me know what you get, bud. With advantage on that one, for the reason that the drawing on the side of it kind of indicates which is the front. You
Thank
know what I
God.
mean? I got to give you a little credit there, bud.
Whew. Well, that went from a nat 1 to a
Oh.
15.
Okay, holy shit. Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to be that. I mean, if it was one of the other ones,
Oh,
that would have been different. But it's literally has the mouth facing a certain direction. So, okay, good call, good deal. So you've got that loaded in there nervously, I would say at best. Okay, I would say actually you were starting to put it in backwards with that one, and then you saw the face on it, which is how you re-rolled the 15 and got it back in the right way. Oh, that'd have been a shit show. All right, so Finn, do you have anything as we're heading that direction? Okay.
You would just check all of his armor, everything like you normally would.
Okay. Everything seems to be intact and everything seems to be good. As you gentlemen head that direction, you walk a good 100 yards and you can see that there's a kind of a raised ledge before you head back down into this grove area. And as you're curving around the side, you start to see the hemisphere that the statue is creating. And it's very, very interesting. When snow blows off the sides of the mountain, and kind of like in a gust, because it's so early, there's that sparkle and flash of the sun peeking through the clouds every once in a while and smacking that. It almost looks like a silver glitter. But when that settles down and hits that almost like this force field like orb that surrounds this nestled piece into the foot of the mountain, you can see it turn into a mist when it hits the inside of this. And you can smell rain to a degree. Gusting through the wind, it almost carries out like that smell before a storm. It's very interesting. And through that, it starts to become even foggier the closer you get into this place. As you trudge forward, you start to make out, and the clouds start to form, and you make out the actual outer wall. A very ornately made and decorated stone wall that would be high to the people that made it, not so much to you all. And you start to see some different forms take shape through the dense clouds that cover this place. You might see the distant shrubberies in a certain angular fashion. You start to smell fruits. You start to notice things that your nose would be very sensitive to because they don't exist out here normally. Does that make sense? Okay. As you guys take on the last 100 yards before you head up to the place, you hear a chatter on the wind. A very strange kind of sound that none of you have heard before. It almost sounds like some kind of feral animal-like cackling. And it's echoes off the side walls of this place. You can't tell if it's just one thing or if it's multiple. But you almost hear like a like a funny kind of sound thing. And it sounds animalistic, and you hear some clicks and some things as this bounces off the sides of the mountain and pierces through the clouds. Anybody have any reaction to this? But you do, as you're walking, you hear it. You just hear this weird sound. It's almost kind of humorous.
My face is exactly the face Rook is making when he's looking at everyone.
Okay.
One brow raised, like the what is that?
Then you hear another one.
I'd like to do a nature check. Do I recognize this?
Go ahead and roll it.
13 plus 8, 21.
You do not. But as you're puzzled listening to it, then you hear something else that's very different. And this is a more bass-filled, low grumble, like if there was a massive bullfrog. You hear this.
Here am I.
Kind of pacing. And you hear that. And as all that humor and that silliness of that high-pitched kind of sound, that hits. And I'm just curious, roll me charisma checks. I'm curious as to how that affects you all. It's
13.
13. Jeremy, what'd you get?
13.
13. Arson. Remember, double digits, we're using two hands. Hold it up higher, bud. Okay, so 14. 1-4. Got it. Thank you. Okay. So, It's gonna be fun. What are you doing on your turn? He's like, yeah, okay. Oh yeah. What? Hey, we'll roll dice. We'll give them options. We'll tell them it's like 1 for option 1, 2 for option 2. Here's your choices. And you can also message me in chat on what you want to do on your turns, Colby, and I'll read it out for everybody and stuff. So a little typing for you, bud. It's all good. We'll work it. We'll work it out. With that, Danny, there's a sense that this. Not only do you not know what this is, but there's this sense of. You remember the serious look on there's 2 halflings' faces at the fighting spirits, and just a deep rumble that you guys feel in your gut and your chest coming from that depth. What in the hell kind of perversion in nature is waiting for you guys in here? Okay. Now, here's what we can do. We can go ahead and I can bring up the map and we can jump into this, or I can go ahead and take our a break real quick, pause this, let Colby restart his computer so we can get into this and we'll try it again, okay? And the reason being, for editing purposes, if we have him drop out, then drop back in, everything changes and it makes editing a nightmare. So let's just go ahead and do that. Just start thinking about how you want to proceed. And when we start back up, I'll bring up the map. Let me go ahead and hit the pause here just a second, guys. I've got these minimized, so let's go pause. Okay, we're going to pause in 3, 2, 1. And just like that, we're back. I like it. Okay. So, turns out Colby has some bad wiring. Do with that whatever you'd like. But he's going to try not to touch a whole bunch of stuff, and his sound still comes across pretty well. Try it again. Say hello, Colby.
Hello, Kobe.
Very nice. Very nice. That'll work. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is go ahead and take you guys in and let you see what your characters see. You guys ready? There you go. So you're on the outside of one of the entrances to this place currently. Now there's a lot of fog and things which seems to be obscuring Rook at the moment just because of the placement on the map. But you see statues of several different halflings, possibly relatives of the Brookwaters, that seem to be decorating this place out before you all. And as you're doing this, and you look into the distance, you hear almost like a cow chewing grass. Like you hear like something being ripped out by the roots, right? And you can hear this chew kind of sound. And as you look into the distance through this gateway, you see a small creature. It isn't paying too much attention to anyone right now because you guys are just now stepping out of the fog. But it's looking down, it's sniffing around, and it's chewing a patch of grass out of the dirt and ripping it out by the roots. And when it does this, this thing is like all mouth with these real little legs, right? And it's chewing on it, and it's licking the grass, and it's kind of slobberish, and there's like drool coming off of it. And then it eats a little bit of the grass, and it spits it out in a gob, like it's looking for something. Then it looks around, sniffs, hops once or twice, looks around, and then it does kind of quick actions. Wham! Goes back down, gets another mouthful of grass, starts chewing it around, man. Smells, spits it back out again. I have a check I need to roll. Just 1 second.
Hubert's coke addict cousin.
Kinda. Ooh, it's not the best for you. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Are you guys trying to be stealthy and have a conversation about this thing before you proceed? Or what are you talking out loud, not paying much care or attention to this? What's the play here, guys?
From where I'm sitting, I'm gonna try to like pie the entrance.
Yes.
And then also I'm gonna motion for because Azara is on the other side. I'll look to her and make the motion to pie the doorway.
So when you say pie the doorway, explain to me what all that entails.
So like when you're clearing a room, what you do is like you'll kind of come around and peek. So where I'm at, I should be able to peek north at like a 45-degree angle and see more, and she should be able to peek the other direction.
Got it. Okay. And for the other two, so you're giving kind of hand signals to the other ones, kind of suggesting where you want them to go, and you're wanting them to, I guess, kind of move back to the sides where they have the same field of that X vision. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, so we can
Okay.
kind of maybe see if there's anything else before we go rushing in there.
Okay, now Rook, what's your surface thought? And I'll give you the benefit of the doubt of that because first person speaks. In my mind, it's first person acts. So he's came up with the first idea. So Arson, you can either try to interpret what he's doing, because we've already been talking about hand signals, so you're up your alley, Colby. So you can either do that or suggest your own method of however this is going to go forward.
So, for the shits and giggles of it, I rolled a nature check just
Okay.
to see how Rook would process this thing, like how many details he wants to get out of looking at this thing.
Of course, yeah, I get it.
With a 4, he's fairly grossed out. This is kind of like that's an abomination. What is that?
Right. When you say that and you have that little bit of sickly look and you're throwing out these head signals, all of a sudden you see it sniff up and you see it find a mushroom, a small one, laying underneath a patch of that grass it's been digging around. And as it does, it lifts its head up and goes like that loud sound that it does. And when you hear that through the fog, you hear that louder one, yeah, like that deep, bassy kind of voice up to the northern part of this somewhere. So you're being freaked out, just intensified a little bit. Okay? Yeah. Like this deep kind of shit you feel in your chest, okay? With that, what was your motion here, Rook? You told me what your mind's doing. Is your motion taking Finn's lead, or are you doing something different?
So, with him looking north, Azar looking south,
Yes.
I think Rook is going to try to see if he can peer. Is that wall in front of us? Is that low enough that we could see over it?
Yep, 4 foot tall.
Okay. So Rook is going to try to see the best that he can with the surrounding fog. And see what he can see out ahead of them. Kind of scan that area.
Okay. Now these two are kind of ducking back. Azara's following his lead. So Zara has went ahead and decided that she's going to kind of go around the corner here a little bit to peer this way, as Finn kind of hunkers up close to the X side of the wall, and he's looking up in this hemisphere. Now this thing still hasn't noticed you all. Are you wanting to stand there, start peering forward, or do you want to take a step back?
I want to try to stay obscured by the fog if I can.
Perfect. Okay.
I want to get to a point where I'm still obscured by the fog, but I can see out of it well enough.
Okay, and then Arson, you're the last one to act here. Are you taking one of these sides? Are you getting back a little bit? What are you doing? As you can see, Rook he steps back a little bit, but you can tell he's physically trying to look forward a little. What's your move here, bud?
He's gonna get behind Finn.
Which is cool because you're tall enough where you could look over Finn's shoulder if you chose to. So that works out pretty good. Okay, let's go, Arson, and I'm going to put you back over here and switch their places just for fun to make this look right. And then, Arson, you're going to be over Finn's shoulder, looking up this direction. Okay? I want you guys to do a group stealth check to see if this thing detects you as you're making silent movements and things over this way. Now, for the hell of it, Finn, if you do. You know what? There's no real role for charades, right? So I would be willing to give you advantage on these rolls if Finn can show me how well he's able to send you these signals with his hands. If you can tell me, Danny, how Finn is looking at people and making motions, and you pass that check, I'll give you guys a bit of advantage on your stealth in this moment. All you gotta do is tell me how to do it and then sell it to me, sir.
Okay, I'm just going to use performance because that would be kind of performing, and that would be a 19 with his bonuses, and it's just simple stuff like eyes, look, eyes, C1, and then pointing 45,
Okay.
and then he actually gets down and starts looking that way.
Okay.
And when he motions to her, he'd be like,
okay. With that, have a roll. I'm going to give you guys advantage on your stealth. Go ahead and give me some stealth, and I'm going to do an overall number because this is the general area over here. Tell me your rolls, and I'll paint you the picture and let you know what it looks like.
Dirty 20.
30-20 from the big man. I like it. How about you, Finn?
15.
15. Colby, what'd you get?
24. And also, would Arson be able to know when Arson be able to know hand signs proficiently because of what he used to be?
Not what he's doing.
Not what he's doing. Okay.
And what you, we'll get that at some point. What you guys did back in the day was a different kind of stuff, a different kind of military order, especially. Yeah, not the same kind of stuff. Azara.
All right, got it.
Azara moves very, very stealthily, but she doesn't understand exactly what you're talking about, Finn. Right? So as you're doing this, she pulls down the scarf and she's literally looking at you, Finn, like going, and she's pointing at her eyes and she's like touching one of her horns and she's kind of looking around and she's she doesn't quite get what you're saying, but she stands back up and she kind of smiles, kind of like how she does with that kind of pleasant smile. And you can tell the only reason she's looking over the wall is because she's mocking what you're doing. Like, she is just, if she sees you doing one thing, she's kind of like, you see this aha kind of moment go across her face, Finn, and she goes back and she's like eccentrically trying to look dramatic as she looks out into the distance to let you know that she understands what you're getting at. But she truly doesn't get your hand gestures. That's awesome. With advantage, I rolled shit for her. I'm sorry. So, Bella's spirit is alive and well in this game, guys. Let's talk about what everybody sees. Those are good rolls, and those surpass the mushroom scavenging little menace that's over here. Which, do you guys remember what they called these? No idea.
Did we ever get a name?
I don't know if they even gave you a particular name for these at all. So, what would you guys like to call these things?
Big mouthy bastard.
Big mouthy bastards. BMBs. Right on. Okay.
so,
you want to
do
see
we
that
see
angle?
anything do we see any more, or does that seem to be all we can see from where we're at?
From Azara's angle, she looks and she whispers very silently. She goes, "I can only see to the shrub line that the clouds the clouds are too thick. I cannot make out anything beyond what it is I can see in front of us." And she's saying this very softly to not rouse suspicion. Okay? As that happens, Finn and Arson, what you two are able to see as I move this around a little bit. Just a second. You see a couple more up here before the clouds get heavy again. They've got their backs turned towards you, and they seem to be munching on a mushroom up ahead, unsuspecting of you all. Okay? As they're kind of cackling and making that kind of strange sound. It's eerily human sounding. And I can do some different kind of sounds and stuff like that. You guys have heard me do it before. That cheap, cheesy version of that thing I'm doing is hilariously kind of how this sounds. It's disturbing. It's kind of like that's not the sound something that looks like this should be making. If that makes any sense, okay? Okay. It's the kind of the same response you'd have if you do one of them squeak toys in Walmart, and when you let go of it, and the dog in the pet department makes that high pitched squealing kind of weird sound. You're like, God, that's goofy as shit. That's kind of what these things do. Okay. So, with that, you also, Rook, you look forward and you see the central statue, which you believe might be responsible for keeping this hemisphere of eternal spring up. And you see someone that looks very much like Enel Brookwater, which is the one that was dancing around the red velvet vest from the Fighting Spirits. It looks like it could be a relative of his or distant relation. And he has a bucket on his shoulder full of different berries and fruits and stuff. And this statue is very finely crafted. Okay? And it seems like that might be the center of this arcaneness, as it seems to be just a little bit brighter, and the rain just seems to, it's only a very light mist in here, but it is somewhat humid as it creates that, with little gushes of wind and coldness that seep through every once in a while. But that mist seems to swirl around this statue particularly, almost like it's drawn to it. Okay? What are you guys doing with that information? To see much beyond it, it's too foggy.
A motion for everybody to come close.
Drawing them to you. Okay. What's everybody doing? Azara just kind of nods and agrees, and she sneaks back around and comes back behind.
As they are, I step. Yeah, I was going to say I step towards the fog there a little bit.
Okay. Finn, and just stepping back or forward?
Just back.
Back. Okay, I'm going to put you about right here then. Okay. So everyone's kind of clustered up in a 5-foot huddle. Rook, are you guys trying to make a plan here? You've scoped out what seems to lay ahead of you. What's the play here, guys? Finn, guys.
I whisper, I can hit them with a magic missile. They'll come at us. If you, he points to Arson and Rook, get on the sides of the doors as they're coming at me, they won't see you crouched. You'll get surprised and be able to get them as they come through the door. Azara, you be ready to pin them down with your gravity.
Not a bad idea. The sooner we can shut them up, the better. If we don't, there's a good chance that any noise that they make might draw in the big one.
Nice. Azara kind of looks, and she says, as she looks down at her hand, and she's remembering what happened in the metering winery earlier today, she goes, I can be dangerous. And she kind of looks down at her hand again, and she looks at you and she grins. And she goes, this sounds like a good idea. And she takes a step back to where she knows she can hit this area when and if she needs to. Good idea, Finn. Okay, with that, Azara kind of steps back to the side here into the fog and is somewhat obscured. Rook, where do you want to move? And, oh, well, Jeremy got to do something real quick. Arson,
North side.
you want to do the north side, and that's smart because that statue's there, and you would have a hard time crouching down beneath a 4-foot wall. You're a large mammal, sir. But that statue helps a little bit with you covering yourself, which makes sense, right, guys? Arson, are you positioning yourself opposite over here?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Okay. Well, Finn, what's it called, buddy?
He yells Lux and fires him.
Well, you gonna get here in front of Azara
Yeah.
and do it so you can see him from
Yep.
here? Okay.
And from there,
And you're firing a magic missile. Are you aiming at any one particularly, or just aiming the front one, or all three, or how do you do it?
so I'm gonna cast the first level, which will be 4 bolts. Double check that. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's 3. Since I'm casting at first level, each one of them will get hit by 1, and they're 1d4 plus 1.
Okay. So are these automatic hits? There's no roll for hits. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna roll spell anyway, because
Yes.
the way you do things.
Because, and by the
Okay.
way, folks watching, we roll to see how well spells are performed, even if it's like a DC or something like that. Because you roll a 20 on a DC, something like a fireball can do extra damage. Something like a magic missile can do extra damage. We treat it like we do melee, and it makes for great gameplay. So
So
go ahead
total
and
with
roll.
bonuses, 26.
A 26. What was your natural roll?
15.
Okay. Awesome. Are you using the quick damage variant, or are you using the, you want to roll your dice?
I'll roll for these.
Okay. So
Um,
go ahead as you spray it out, and I'm going to start myself a little bit of music for fun here on my side of the
okay.
ship because I can.
2 of them take 4 damage, and 1 of them takes 3.
Okay. Let me see my numbers here and get this down right. Number 8 takes a hit. You said.
Yep.
Okay.
And first level's 3 magic points puts me down to 67.
Right.
I
Okay.
thought about casting higher, but I was like, man, I better save magic. I don't know what's going on in here.
Right, and as well you don't. You're right. Okay. Nicely done. As you do that, all of a sudden they seem to be alarmed. Bam, bam, bam. You've hit the 3. Okay, now the surprise in itself is over. I'm going to need everyone to do initiative. Now, I like the fun of our initiative system. Some people think it slows down gameplay. I think it's a neat kind of look into what you guys are up to. So you've got your game plan. Okay? So, do you guys remember how we do initiative and what we're going to do? If not, I'll remind you, it's okay. So, for those of you that are new to seeing this, what they're going to do is they have 2 minutes. Are you going to do a group initiative or individual initiative? That's the first question. Do you guys want to do this as a group or everyone for themselves?
I mean, it is a coordinated attack, so I would say it would be group.
Okay. And who's the person that I'll make Finn the person that sets this off. So it'll be your initiative roll that starts it. Okay. So go ahead and roll me an initiative roll. Tell me what you get, Finn.
16.
16. Okay, I will roll for the other group, and I'll let you know what they get in just a minute. Okay, that is a 15, so your group will be going first. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 minutes, okay, to come up with your plan and send me messages as to what that is in group. Okay? Talk it out loud amongst yourselves. That is your window of opportunity because you have rolled so well. Go ahead, and your time starts now.
Well, we hit them with the magic missile. They should be coming at us. I say we hold position and get the surprise. Let Azara pin them down, like we were talking about. Like, if she pins them with gravity, we should be able to kind of tackle them from the sides.
We're attacking as soon as they breach the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. That's all
Okay.
I need.
Talk about the forming of attack. What's your plan of form? You could be building something up. You could be trying to do an echo move. You could try to be doing a Banshee's Cry. There's a certain martial arts move. Give me some information. You're at a minute.
Do you want us to tell you or send you a message?
Send a message.
Okay.
Is ours ready to rock and roll? This initiative is brought to you by coffee. Colby, have you sent me your message yet? You're still typing it up.
I'm still typing it up.
Okay, you're good. Okay, got it. I got that one from Keaton. Good job, bud. Okay, Finn, do you have another spell in mind? Or an action you're going to take when they come through there to you?
Let's get it.
Got it.
Good.
Okay, and Colby, did you send yours too?
Yep.
Just got it. Got it. That's all I need. Perfect, guys. And if you have to divert from that majorly, it's one attack to refocus. Or what did we call it? Was it refocus, or what was the word we used for it? I think it was. Either way, it's refocusing.
Yeah, I think refocus is what we kind of went with.
Yeah. So, all right, I've got it. All right. So as that happens, you guys are holding your ground. You have the initiative, so you're waiting for this to happen. As these missiles have hit from that direction, the lead one here drops a half-eaten mushroom out of its mouth and it starts screaming out, and it has these like loud shrieks that come out of it. It sounds very different from that call when it found that mushroom earlier. It's screechingly loud. And as it happens through here, it starts hopping around and smelling. You can just see these weird sets of holes that go between its eyes and patterns on its head, like it has 4 or 6 of them. And you see them kind of open up and move on the muscles and stuff on their head. It's creepy looking as shit. As you can hear, it's like they're kind of smelling around. The first one, let's see if they can detect where the magic missiles came from. Okay. It is going to move into this area on its turn, and that is number 8. Okay. Right here. Is going to move into this area, and it's about right here, and start sniffing around. The other ones over here follow after it, making smaller, more chattery screeching sounds. They're like doing that. They're making all these weird freaking sounds. The one, number 6, let's see here. I've got to change the way it's facing. So it is, let's see here. Ceiling over here. Let's change this real quick. Sorry, guys. There he is. Okay. And then let's go ahead and move him over this direction. He's going to span out and go a little bit above him. Okay. He's going to go up into here and start sniffing around the statue. The last one, number 7, that's back here, it doesn't turn around. It seems to whimper a little bit over here. It makes some chattering kind of sounds, because that's the one, Danny, I'm going to say you hit with the one that did the most damage. That one seemed to really get it. And as it does, you can see a little bit of this ichor and stuff kind of coming out of it where you've done a little bit of damage to it, and it starts to cry and weep a little bit. And as it does that, you hear a deeper kind of voice seem to come out of the pool of water just beside it. And as that happens, something comes into view. A larger one of these moves up out of the water dripping out of it. It has water in its mouth that's coming out like little waterfalls between its razor sharp teeth. Longer tongue, you can see the barbs now. It seems to have some kind of large pollinated plant that grows out of the back of this thing, as it has these strange legs, and they're almost roots that have grown into like finger-like appendages. These things are more mutated now that you're seeing a bigger version of it than you would have first suspected. Okay? And as it comes out, it opens up its lower jaw and it gives this like a and it starts yelling like these loud shrills in that direction. That is going to be their initial turn here. Now, you've got these two that are sniffing around, but they haven't quite discovered you guys yet. You still have the jump. Okay? Are you still waiting? Are we doing like the hold? They haven't quite detected. Or are you doing something to draw them to you, Finn? Uh-huh.
Whistle at it. See what happens.
Okay, you throw out a light whistle. And when you do that, they stop. And they all start looking. And it's equal parts the whistle and the wine on your breath that you had just hours ago that blows through the wind, and that draws them into range. Let me see how well they take the bait. And we all know, and here's why I'm giving you this. You had a sip of that wine that's made of those mushrooms that they hunt. You all have had it. When you whistle and blow like that, they pick up on that immediately. With no regard. And I'm not trying to just make things easy on you guys, but I mean, that plays to the story pretty good, right? That's kind of a neat moment that I just kind of thought of. So that works. These two come right into view. Right down through this stuff like just lost stray animals just looking for some goodies, man. Looking for some kibbles. Let's go ahead and get in here with number 8. He's going to be the first one to jump up, and as he gets to right here, he starts to make out what and who you are. Okay, followed by number 6. Okay, so Azara was the first one to spring this, correct? All right. As that happens, I need these things to roll. I want you to roll a DC for me. I want you to roll, Jeremy, I want a 1d20 and a 1d8. Tell me what her DC is on this.
$20.
That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a real tough one. All right, let me go ahead and roll this real quick. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't this strength? Or was this constitution? For this ability?
I think it was strength.
I think it was too. And if not, hey, she wasn't here to play it. We're doing the best we can. Right? 19 on the first one, just failed. See what the second one gets. That was number 8, so let's see what number 6 gets. 11. So failed by more than 10. So that'll impact the damage. Okay? So with that, this gravity ball comes into effect. Let's go ahead and create it. Okay, so let me go here. Let me go ahead and go to a gray shape. Create a shape. Okay. Transparent it down a little bit. Okay. And when they do, they are held in place, and you can hear like parts of them seem to be breaking. You can hear them gasping and their rattly breath and stuff like that, and they seem to be compressing as this gravity has hit them and is holding them in place. They are scampering and shaking nervously, trying to get out of this. They don't know what the hell is happening to them, but it hurts. Okay? I'll go ahead and mark down. We got that's 6 and 8. Okay. Azara is holding that, and as you can see her with her hand outreached and stuff, and her fingers are tensing and stuff like that as she's moving around, and you notice, for the first time, guys, a little bit of a shimmer around her horns, as if gravity itself is being generated from those horns, like that's her focal point. It almost has like a wave, like they move in such a fast vibration they seem blurred for just a brief moment as her hair floats ever so slightly in the back, the white hair, as she holds the hand out and is forcing them into this situation. Who would like to be the next one to pounce in this act? I'll leave it up to Finn. You did your whistle, which I'll call your free action. So you were the first one. Your initiative did this. I'll give you the chance to go first.
He's holding his action in case they get past those two.
Okay,
Like,
awesome.
he's just keeping them pinned so that they're focused on him, and those guys get flanking so that they get favor when they're attacking it. Because if they're looking at him, both of them are flanking.
Okay, perfect. Rook, what are you doing? You could attack diagonally from there if you chose to, and you could also move in front, move 5 foot and attack. These things are pretty much, I mean, they could bite you if you put your hand on them, but they're not moving anywhere right now. They are restrained. Okay?
Well, so if I follow my plan, it was dagger toss and then ready to tax.
Okay, so go ahead and tell me what you're doing. Roll it.
It'll be that first one that breached the wall there.
Okay, that's number 8.
So dagger toss was a nat 20.
Outstanding. What's the total?
10 points of piercing.
Okay. Awesome. And did you already do your math on it and everything, or are you getting ready to?
12 points of piercing because I haven't added my finesse points to it yet.
Okay. 12 points of piercing to the person with a natural 20.
Yep, for a total of 29.
For a total damage of 29?
No, for a total of attack roll of 29.
Okay, so what that does, and I'll tell you for your damage wise. Okay, so you already did the multiplier because you rolled a natural 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and because you hit it by okay, awesome. Got it. Number 8. That thing looks rough, dude. That hit between that gravity and those magic missiles that hit it earlier, that one there in the front looks rough when you just got done doing that. Okay? When you did that, as a reaction, something happens. Okay. Let me go to it real quick. Number 8. Just a minute here. Got you there. Okay. Okay. As that happens and you poke another hole in this thing and it's getting squeezed all around it and stuff like that, you can see it start shaking like something's getting ready to erupt. And when it does, gas bursts out of the creature. From the holes being poked in it by darts and things of that nature, plus the pressure, which unfortunately kind of aids to this. No one could have known. These things were little fucking puffballs. All of a sudden, something comes into view. It explodes into a ball of what seems to be like some kind of chemical flame, like some kind of chemical reaction, like napalm kind of shit looking stuff, into a ball. Everybody within 5 foot of this ball this exploded, including the little one beside it, needs to roll me a dexterity saving throw. You pass easily. It seems that gravity contained the blast. So it made this DC very low naturally. I rolled like a real low roll. But that makes sense. It's kind of neat how this is orchestrating. The gravity's making that happen. It only makes sense. Rook, what'd you get?
How low of a roll?
I don't tell you first. You tell me, bud. That's how this works.
10.
You passed.
Woo!
And Arson, what'd you get?
21.
You also passed. As this thing, it almost implodes, and I can only describe this as like, you know those videos when you see those depth charges go off of ships and they explode under the water? It kind of looks like that. It kind of, and it blows up in a little ball, and you could have seen, you know, everyone's kind of like, ah! You know what I mean? But her gravity seems to hold that explosion in, and it keeps it minimalized. Number 8 is no more. This one here takes a hit though. And doesn't like it. And as you see it, like the ichor and the different particles of mushroom and grass and stuff just kind of fly. If anything, you know how you drive by when someone's using a weed eater and they hit you with that shit through your window? You guys get that, but it's not enough to hurt you. As this thing's like, right? So that's what you've got at that point. Rook, continue your turn.
It'd be just holding my ready to attacks at this point. When that next one comes past that wall, it's getting 2 smacks.
Okay, 'cause, like I say, this thing may run. I mean, you're in the middle of your turn. If you, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's in the gravity well, so.
And point made. So but you're still waiting, correct?
Yeah, because I don't want to divert just yet until I see situation change.
Okay, Arson, you just saw this happen. You're able to get your shoulder up, and some of that muck kind of hit you and stuff like that, but it wasn't enough to hurt. That's still inside this gravity that she seems to have focused on these 2 creatures. What is it that you're doing? And I'm going to keep this moving, and if there's something you guys want to do, and you think you're being cheated, you guys speak up, because we're moving.
This one, what I wrote, he would still be waiting because he killed the first one, so he's still waiting for another one to pass.
Okay.
Another one to pass.
That's going to end everybody's turn?
I think that, and Rook knows what that gravity well does. I don't think he wants to walk into it.
Well,
The last time he went.
yeah, she can be selective with it, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay. So, with that, let me see how she's doing on her concentration. Doing great. She's holding tight. Okay. So, moving over to their turn. As that one explodes, you hear the large one shriek out as pieces of that thing come flying out of the distance. It runs straight towards it, and that number 7 has to roll to make sure it doesn't get toppled, as these things don't seem to, they care for one another, but they don't care for one another, obviously. Right? It's able to hop out of the way. Number 1 comes barreling ass down that direction. Let me go get to it real quick here. Number 1. Okay. Comes barreling down this way. This little one just barely gets out of the way as it comes down to here. Now, it stops right there and starts looking, and Finn makes eye contact with you and looks right at you. Okay? It's able to peer and see in that direction. And as it does, there's this moment, you know when you're staring at a dog and you don't know if it's going to be mean or nice? And you can watch the face contort and things start to change. The vein like things on the face and the crinkles and all the tendrils begin to change, and you can see the eyes start to light up, and the mouth becomes wider and more wicked as it makes eye contact with you. And a deep kind of growl starts to emanate from inside of it, sounding like something growing inside of a hollow barrel. Okay?
I'm going to cut loose, and he's going to do something different. And because of his class and what he's able to do, he can cast one-handed with the sword.
Right.
He screams Ignis, and I'm going to shoot a fireball.
Okay.
Big one.
All right. Go ahead and since you changed up what you're doing, you're going to go ahead and do a fireball, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take your reaction away from you because you had to change halfway through. But go ahead and do your fireball.
All right, that is a 14 plus 11 is 25 for the fireball. So, or I'm sorry, that I got to create a DC with that one. So that would be what would be a 25 to hit, and the DC on that would be 23.
Okay, so I want to make sure and explain. That's okay, because it's been a minute. So, Fireball has a DC. If I believe Fireball, you don't have to roll to hit with it. You roll the DC, and then I see if I'm able to beat that or not, and that describes the hit, correct?
A bright streak flashes from your pointed finger to a point you choose within range, and then blossoms into a roar and explosion of flame. Each creature in a 20-foot radius sphere centered on that point must make a dex saving throw.
Right.
A target takes 8d6 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one.
Okay, so it's
So
just
he can
DC.
save for half.
Which one was that?
That would be a 23
23. Okay, let me roll it.
dex.
Dex. Okay, thank you. It's a high DC, isn't it? But that means you really cast it well. That's what I like about that. You know what I'm saying? 13, so you beat it by 10. Okay, which is awesome. So your dice, are you doing quick damage or you want to roll them?
Let's do quick damage, because that's
Okay.
a lot of dice.
Yeah, so what was it again?
8d6.
Okay, so D6s, you're automatically doing 3 on each one. Because you got it by 10, you're doing 2 more steps. You understand what I'm saying? So you're doing 5s on each one. So each
So-
D6 was a 5. How many points of damage is it total?
40.
40 points of damage on a fireball that hits. Now, I'm curious, where did you center this fireball so I can do this properly?
Probably
Because you said it's
would probably be right in front of him.
You said
you know,
it's a
with-
20-foot radius, right?
Yeah, it'd be
So it's
within the
40
5
foot
foot
from
square
one
right
side to
in
the
front
other.
of him.
Okay. So I want to put something on here just so everybody can kind of see what we're dealing with. Okay. For a graphic, just so you guys kind of get an idea as to the fuckage that Finn just created. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so let's just say, and I've got a way to do this here. Just a second. Let's go ahead and go to the grid. Let's bring the grid up because we need it. Okay, let's go grid. Bring the grid up. There we go. That's something I have in the bag. We can always pull that grid up if we need it for any time. Okay, so we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I got that pretty close with just guessing, right? Fucking, I like it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move that. Monsters, let's move this shape. And I'm going to say when you centered that thing, right there, that's what you could have done. Now, you go right here. I don't think you could have got all 3 of them because this is a little bit bigger. But you definitely could have got these front 2. Is that
Go
what
with
we're
that.
saying, bud?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Now, it catches shit on fire, doesn't it? I hope you can explain this to the Brookwaters. That's all I'm saying. Because you're just, it's almost like the Ghostbusters when they open up the doors to the dining room and all the shit's just falling down. And they're like, hey, man, we took care of the business. So, 40 points of damage, that counts as 3. Holy shit, sir. Get real. Okay. And does it catch fire to flammable objects? Does it say that or not?
Anything worn or carried.
So
The fire spreads around corner. It ignites flammable objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried.
that aren't being worn or carried. Okay, so what we're going to say for just theatrics, we're going to say these shrubberies, there's one back here behind him, this shrubbery here and this shrubbery here, we're going to say are poof. And they look like little burn up Christmas trees that caught fire and shit, like the National Lampoon's movie. That shit. There's little flames licking off of them and smoldering. You happen to look up at the face of the statue in the distance, and you can swear where it wasn't before, there's a look of disappointment on the statue. Just kind of looking down like, Anyway, on a comedic side note, that happens, and now the shape will be gone. Beautiful. Okay, that fireball actually hit this one. This one is no more, but it explodes again. Okay, so number 6 also explodes with the added fuel of this. So this is going to be a full-on saving throw, even against the gravity push of her. Well, let's check it. Colby, roll me a 1d20 and a 1d8 for Zara to see if she can hold this back and do it with disadvantage. And I want to see if she's able to maintain the gravity force even with this fireball and this thing exploding both at the same time, seeing if she's powerful enough to contain it. What'd she get?
Okay, so I'm rolling. Am I rolling with a disadvantage, or is this just a straight roll for DC?
With disadvantage. You're rolling a 1d20 and a 1d. What I say it was, an 8 or a 6?
8.
An 8. Roll that total once, then roll it again, and tell me which one's the lowest.
Major difference.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the first roll was a 26. This one is 11.
Okay, so once again, the dice tell the story, right, Jeremy? The 11 was great because that was just a little explosion of that thing going off, but with Danny rolling such a strong fireball and that pushing on through, that's where the second wave comes through and makes this thing fail. You guys have some DCs to roll against.
Real quick, I just rolled a because I used more than 10. That was 10% of my magic points at a go, so I rolled a Constitution check. I got a 15 though, but just wanted to let you know I was playing by the rules.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and that works. That is, you remember what the DC of that is?
I thought it got bigger, but I thought it was a 10 if you went 10 per. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's been a while since.
But that works, and it's of certain level spells too.
Yeah,
but
I thought it was levels. Yeah, it was level spells, so it might not even need them yet. It might be 5th or 6th, but
I don't think you do, but that works. I appreciate you doing that. That gives good play to this. Okay, nicely done. You're able to maintain. Azara loses concentration on the gravity, and it goes because of this. Finn. Well, no, this thing would have blown up. This would be more Arson and Rook. I want you guys to do saving throws for half or no damage because you are behind the wall as well. So roll me dexterity saving throws and tell me what you guys get. As number 6 here explodes.
18.
18. Okay, Rook, what'd you get?
I'm looking at something real quick here. Okay. All I got is the elusive step. I don't have anything else.
It's okay.
So dex save is a 18.
Okay. The DC was very high on this, unfortunately. You guys don't take a whole lot of damage, but you do take some. And I'll just do quick damage variant. You guys both take 7 points of fire damage. Okay? Use that accordingly. Remember, fire damage, if it doesn't breach you, it becomes non-lethal damage. Or, since this is an area, what you have to do is you have to take a certain amount of it. So what are you wearing, light, medium, or heavy?
Like,
Okay, so you minus 25% off that because you have light armor on. But you do take the damage. Your armor does take the damage from it. But you take 25% off. That's what you do. What do you got, light, medium, or heavy on? You don't have any actual armor on, do you, Colby?
No, because I didn't use any of my other classes actions, so that doesn't show up. So it's just my dragon hide.
You take the 7 fire damage.
As a
Okay.
Draken, do you have any immunity to fire?
It doesn't appear so in this case. He's still trying to decide what kind of Draken he is.
I have lightning.
Well, so you
But
say.
that's what my Brett says.
Isn't that something? Okay. All right. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and take this seedling off here. Let me do this again. Come on, buddy. There you go. And he is slain. So that was number 6. That was number 6 and number 7, was it not? Let me double check here. Make sure I'm doing this right. What's the number of this over here? That was number 6 and number 8. That's number 7 back there. Okay, so number 6, number 8 are no more. Okay, so now that Big Bertha's came down, this little one here, its turn to go. Or no, we're going to go ahead and finish its turn. It came down here. It took the big damage. Okay, Finn, you've used your turn up. Arson, you're still holding yours. Rook, you have a few more attacks you're holding. Let's go ahead and see what we've got. Now that the 2 are gone, you don't know if this thing is a protector, a shepherd of these, or a mama bear, or what exactly is happening, but the next thing that this thing does is very interesting. Let's go ahead and see here. Okay, let's see. Phew. Okay. In that area, in this, all of a sudden, that tail behind it begins to shake. Now, if the fireball would have affected things that were worn and carried, I would have not let this happen, because I would have said that the flower petals and things and stuff got singed and whatnot, but this qualifies as part of the actual creature, so it's worn or carried. I hate that. That's truth, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a technicality there. I get you. But something starts to happen.
This is a strange part in the spell, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. As all of a sudden, you hear something go, almost like bottle rockets or things going off, like for fireworks. And a ball of petals and pollen forms over top and starts drifting down. I'm going to put it centered here so it doesn't quite reach Azara, but it would reach the 3 of you all. I need you all to do Constitution saving throws for me, please. Ooh, shit, boys. Oh, shit, boys. DC's high. What are we looking at? Finn, what'd you get?
1.
A dirty 20?
Yeah.
Not bad. Rook, what'd you get?
natural 20
Okay.
or 29.
Thank God. Arson, what'd you get?
I got 14.
A 14. Finn. Normally when it comes to mind-altering effects and things of that nature, you're kind of somewhat resistant to things like sleeping and charm and things like that. When these petals fall, this is a natural thing. This is pollen and leaves and stuff that's getting into your nose and flying all around you. When you breathe in, you can feel it starting to burn your lungs and things like that. Because of your immunity, I will say that you are extraordinarily groggy, as you failed even with that roll. and you are under the effects of the slow spell. Okay? So write that down. You are slowed for now. Okay? I think that's the way I want to play this in this instance. Arson, your eyes get heavy, and all of a sudden everything starts to get blurred, and as you're you start to look forward and get mean right before you're getting ready to say something, you see Arson fall prone. And Arson is asleep. Okay? Jeremy, you're able to pull up that mask that you usually wear in light of this. And as everything falls down around you, you're keeping calm as you're seeing all these things. You see Azara in the background. It just seems to be beyond her as you're seeing her stick her hand out and look at these pieces start to float down in front of her. And now you see the result of the creature's spell and what effect it's had on everybody. Yeah, that happened. So
He's knocked out once again.
yeah. Little guy.
I have to do something about this dude sleeping on the job all the time.
No joke, right? No joke. Little guy.
Okay, they
Running
just can't
off-
go anywhere without going to sleep.
Okay, number 7. Number 7 takes off running with almost like an audible whimper of some kind because Big Bertha just come running over top of it and heads to the north. Out of sight. Now, it's the group's turn. Finn was the beginning of the initiative. So, understandably, with slow, you can only make one attack. You don't get a reaction. You can use an attack or a reaction, but not both. And I think your movement is limited to like, what, 15? Is that right, Jeremy? Or half of your movement?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. We'll stick with that
Okay.
for now.
Um,
That is the extent of the fuckage as of right now as your game crafter grins in the light.
well then, so what does that mean for a spell that normally takes a full round to cast? That would be a 2-round spell, correct?
Yes. Because I like the way it sounds.
That's what I thought.
Like, whoops.
I'm gonna use. So I have no bonus action now because of slow, right?
I'll give you either a bonus action, one attack, or a reaction. I'll let you pick one of the 3. But only
I would like to use. I have no idea how this is gonna work out.
Wait a minute.
But,
before I fuck you over that bad, Jeremy, do you let guys use bonus actions? No, they can only do one or the other. They can't use a bonus action when they're slowed, I don't believe.
Well, so I would argue that a bonus action done slowly is an action.
Yeah, there's that. So, yeah, that's a hold true to what I said. Pick one and you can do it.
I will use a bonus action, and I will invoke some ancient elven magic called the Luin Thale.
Fuck yes, you will. Please tell me what this looks like.
Provided you aren't wearing any medium or heavy armor or using a shield, it graces you with supernatural speed,
Be able to
Yeah.
move normally.
agility, and focus. You can use a bonus action to start, and it lasts for 1 minute. It ends early if you're incapacitated, blah, blah, blah. Dismiss it. While it is active, you gain a bonus to AC equal to your intelligence modifier. Your walking speed increases by 10 feet. You have advantage on dex and acrobatics checks, and you gain bonuses to any constitution saving throw you make to maintain your concentration on a spell. So I don't know how.
No, let's have fun with this. So here's what I'm going to do to keep this fluid. And if you choose to debate this, we can, but we have a game going. I'm going to say when you do this, you're normal. Okay? This counteracts the carnage and the pollen and all the fuckage that you're dealing with, okay? And if you make another saving throw at the beginning of your next turn and you pass, then the effects of that will kick in full swing. Okay? But for now, you've gave yourself the adrenaline shot, you gave yourself the Pulp Fiction shot, you're ready to rock and roll. You know what I mean?
I think that's perfectly fair. He used his round to enter it, and that's awesome.
Awesome.
I was kind of hoping for that, but I wanted to see where it went. I figured throw it out and let's play.
Okay, and I'll still give you, now that you've done that, I'll give you your full movement.
For now, he's going to hold
What? Go ahead, bud. Draw.
Crap.
Crap is a bonus action. You've already used it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I guess I'm going to hold position for now.
Okay.
I can't see the advantage of moving.
Yep. I like it. No, that makes sense, bud. That makes sense. Okay. So the next one in this order, I'm going to say is going to be Azara. Okay. So she never messaged me back anything particular I think she wanted me to do. Let me double check, because I told her to private message me. So I've got something here. Let's see if she had anything she wanted to add. No, she did not at this point. So she is going to... If she's back here in the fog, this thing's here. Arson is down. She's going to use her movement. And Azara is going to move over beside Arson. And she is going to be trying to wake him up. I'm going to use free action first and see if it works. Okay. No, you know what? No, she's got so many attacks. She has her chakram out. Okay? And as she begins to twirl it, she can actually do kicks, and she can use chakrams. She's going to kick Arson, causing damage to Arson, which will snap him out of being sleeping. Okay? So, but it still kind of screws up your turn, Arson. You know, puts you back behind. You still lost this turn, but now you're awake. So when she rolls down, you're going to see her, and it's kind of intense. You've never really seen Azara be martial before. You know she can dance. You know there's different things she can do, but she raises her leg up, and her leg, as it comes out from underneath of that garb that she wears, is muscular. I mean, she's not Chun-Li, but it's more than you would have assumed out of her. And in this form, you notice something very interesting. She has a hooved foot. In this form. Okay? Which is dark and onyx looking, like a dark onyx like stone, this jeweled kind of, and shines and somewhat like that, kind of like a dark crystal, just like her horns are. So when she comes down and kicks on him, you take... That's fair. She would have held back. 4 points of bludgeoning damage, and that snaps you awake. I won't let you have an action or anything, but I'll let you have a reaction now that you're awake and stuff, and maybe but that would be it at this point. You're trying to get up your prone, okay? And then she's going to take her chakram, and she's going to use some more movement, and she's going to step right up to here. Right in between you two, and she is going to aim, and she is going to try to throw and cut at this flower to stop that petal from doing what it does. She's going to do a little bit of gardening. Okay? Let's see how she does. 10 doesn't hit. She throws it. It goes over, and as it does, the creature sees it down. You know how an animal will kind of duck down when shit kind of comes at it? It naturally kind of hunkers down, and as it does, the chakram skims off the top of the flower. You can see a little bit of pollen fall, but it doesn't do anything, and it comes back to her. Okay, as she retrieves it. And that's going to be the end of Azara's turn. She'll use the rest of her movement to get back to this position. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and go to Rook. Rook, what are you doing?
So you think I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Go ahead.
Bonus action.
Okay.
I want to make sure I can do this in the same turn. I can't. It's a bonus action to manifest and a bonus action to teleport.
Okay.
However, I can unleash my incantation.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is the bonus action to put my echo right there next to that statue in front of us.
Okay. So
Basically, right in front of the big boy.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that real quick then. Let's go Rook. Let's go File. Let's go, oh no, Layer. Copy Layer. Bam. We got Rook 2. I like it. Let's move Rook 2 over here. And I'm going to make him an Echo. I like it. Let me do a filter here real quick to him. Hold on. Color adjustments, brightness and contrast. We're going to take the depth out, and he is grayed. And that, sir, is your Echo up there. Is that easy? I like that. It's pretty cool. Now, is that where you want to be exactly, or want me to move that around a little bit?
A little bit south. I kind of want it in front of Big Boy, like between him and that entry.
Okay, is that place work about right there?
Yep, that's
Okay.
perfect.
Nice. That's your bonus action, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, question.
Yes.
We've talked about, we talked about how Rook has the Giant Slayer feature.
Absolutely.
Is that specifically for giants or just giant-sized creatures?
I would say creatures bigger than large.
And this thing is
It would be large, but it's not huge.
okay, so that wouldn't apply to it.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do then is unleash my incantation whenever you take the attack action. Okay, so Rook is going to pop up with his short bow over that wall.
Okay, so you're just standing up.
Yeah, he's going to unleash that shot. And
Okay.
since he's got that mirage ribbon on his short bow,
Fuck yeah.
that first attack is a magic missile.
That's outstanding. You know what kind of magic missile? Like how many casts of it?
Let
Let's
me
see what
look.
level
here.
you're doing that at.
It is Binding of Mirage. Once per day. Becomes a magic missile. It says 3 darts, 1d4 plus 1 force each.
There you go.
I don't know if that improves as I do or not.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So go ahead, and those are automatic hits, correct?
Yep.
You want to go to quick damage variant, or you want to roll?
I'll roll.
Okay, go ahead. Let me know what your total is.
So that is 4, 6, and 4. So 10 total force damage.
10 total force damage to the creature. Nicely done. Okay. Now what are you doing now? That's your first attack. You've used your bonus action. What else?
I am going to use an Unleash Incarnation, and my Echo is going to walk forward through the thing.
Doing that
I know.
that shit. Okay. Now did we decide if you want to do that? It's psychic, right?
I believe so.
I think we decided it was psychic for him. It's either there or not, or necrotic. You have to decide. I think you could either say it was like, I think it was your choice. You could do necrotic because of your connection to the Netherfell, or it could be psychic because of your pain. You decide what you want to manifest through the echo.
Good Lord, I almost forgot the The web page to access Google Drive. My lord.
Now, just so you guys know, what I'm doing here on this, because we're just going back and forth turn to turn, if you guys take over a minute trying to come up with the different stuff that you're doing on your turn, you lose an action point. So, after this, Jeremy's on the threshold, but he's good. You know what I mean? As far as deciding.
Tribe screwed me. They changed their layout.
Really?
And when I pulled it up, I'm like, oh, that is different. What
I'm
the
gonna have to check that out. Because I never have Drive open when we're doing this. I always, because it bogs it down, so I always have notes in hard copy. So,
all right, passes through the space. Creature must make a con saving throw versus your spell save DC, which is 8 plus proficiency plus skill, or suffer the effects of chill touch.
So it's necrotic in this nature. Okay, go ahead and roll the DC. That's pretty neat. All
right, so this will be 8 plus proficiency plus charisma. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 as the DC.
Okay. Passes with an 18, unfortunately. So it takes half the damage, which is...
It is going to be...
Be thinking about what you want to do with what bit of action you have, Arson, with your movement. I'll let you move, like, half your movement because you got to get up from prone or something of that nature.
There's going to be 4 points of necrotic.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's it. That's
Okay.
2D.
And is that the end of your turn? Or you
once it's moved through, it's going to take a swing at it.
It can do that much on this turn?
Yeah, just walking through it triggers 1.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, go ahead.
I'm unleashing, which is a 28 to hit.
A 28 to hit. Let me tell you, make sure I'm doing this right. The 28 to hit breaches the target. This is direct damage.
There's going to be 9 points of slashing damage.
Nicely done. And you're able to carve deep into the backside of this creature when that happens. When that happens, it spews a bit of ichor that spits out, but it doesn't do anything to your echo as it passes through and just lands onto the grass and begins to hiss a little bit and seep. Can you see the things your echo sees?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Not you.
No, me either, Alexa. Me either.
Yeah, right.
I don't think so. I think it's something that comes at a later level. I can switch spots with it. I know mentally where it's at any time.
Okay.
But outside
Harm
of that,
came its way, but nothing permeated. Okay. And that hit, and I got it marked down. Outstanding, man. Is that the end of your turn?
yes,
Any movement?
Nope.
Okay.
banking on the echo getting the aggro.
Okay, awesome. Arson?
What are the chances he had a quick nightmare when he was passed out?
You know what? I'll tell you what it is. It's going to be a 1 through 5. You did. On my side. I'm going to roll it. Everything else you did not.
All right.
That's a 2. So, do you want to tell us what this is, or do you want me to throw something at you? Why do you want to have a quick nightmare right now?
Because I was thinking, what if, like, if he had a quick nightmare and that he was kicked out of it, what if that quick started his armor to appear?
Yeah, that's interesting. You know what, dude? Good role play. I want you to do a charisma. First, I'm going to measure the depth of what the nightmare was, and I'm going to give you a picture based on this roll here. And the higher this roll is, the higher your DC is to conquer that. Okay? And we're going to see if the armor kicks on. Okay? Oh, hold on, there's one die, which that's an 18. So, oh yeah, that's a 22. Go ahead and roll charisma saving throw.
That is a 13.
Yeah, that's a big difference. As you're down, okay, you remember holding a knight up on the end of a pike. Okay? And you can see his black and gold cloak flapping in the distance. Then all of a sudden everything starts to turn gray. As you're holding him up and you can hear yourself, you can feel yourself roaring. And you're looking down and you have black armored gauntlets on. And you're looking at him and roaring. And as he's at the end of your pike and you've got him up and you can see the dark blood trickling down and everything starts to go gray, you hear a name. You hear a muffled name called out. Okay? You hear, let me make sure. Oh, shit. Okay. You hear Lancil. And as the body's up there and it's got one of the arms on that pike and is holding, someone hands him a mace and throws it up to him. And the guy that's up on top of that pike that you've got speared holding up in the air grabs on that mace, or that flail, that long chain flail, and catches it out of the air and swings it around and whips it at you. Well, you got him on into your pike. And as that ball comes flying down at you, all of a sudden you have this white flash. And then you're awake. And that's representing her kick. And when that happens, when you come to and you look down, you have spectral gauntlets around your hands as you're looking at the same hands from that memory. And you have been darkened, sir, in this moment. Let's make the adjustment. Make sure here. As you'll see, your image changes. You have a shadowy armor of some kind of dark, unholy-like warrior that spiritually floats around your body. Now, it doesn't take over your mind necessarily, but you do have to act somewhat accordingly. Now you're using a whole different kind of character kit. Okay? And the more you give into that, the longer that lasts, and the more things happen to you as you move forward. So this is a double-edged sword, sir. I suggest you use it wisely. With that, what are you doing? I will give you... I don't want to supersede the slow. I mean, she come over, she kicked you. What do you think, Jeremy? She woke him up, but still the turn has to happen all over again. He can't just go and act normally after he fell asleep, was prone, had to get up again. I still can't give you your major action till next turn. But I will give you movement, and I'll give you a free action. What are you doing?
If anything, he would try to step back into the fog for a little bit, and he would quietly say it, and Azara might pick it up, and he would be like, "Not again."
Okay. And do you move anywhere? Are you doing anything to ready yourself for next turn?
It would be to get out from behind that wall, so he can actually get a really good clear view of that.
Okay. Is that where you want to be? You want to be closer or further?
That should be fine.
Okay. Now it's the creature's turn. All right.
Quick messages, Brian.
Yes, sir. Got it. Let me look here. Roll a history check for me, and I know the DC, Danny.
With bonuses, history would be, if I can find history on there. Yeah, 14.
No. Okay. But something is... This is some kind of power that haunts him. That's all you get. It's very interesting. Okay? Now the creature.
I just figured that that armor could have been legendary, seeing how it
Oh.
was.
Just let's not get into it. But yeah, I'm considering all things there, Mr. McGuffey. But no, you do not in this instance. That was a book that you hadn't got to yet. Okay. Jerby's just grinning. All right, so moving forward to creature. Let's see here. Let's see, what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and decide what kind of action it wants to take with you all, you bunch of punks. Scaredy cats won't even come into the garden and play. We just want to light on fire from a distance. I understand. That's fine.
It's a form of damage control.
It is. And you know what? You're not wrong.
We're only repeatedly damaging the one small area.
Okay. With this, let's go ahead and roll a chance for a legendary action. And mind you, it's a legendary action, but I'm not throwing legendary shit at you at this level, guys. We're having some fun here.
You're not trying to kill us just yet.
No, well, that happens. So, guys, okay, with that, on its turn, you see it start to stick its head up, and its tongue comes out, and it starts doing that sound, right? And as it does, out of the side of this thing, you see the flesh of it start to stretch tight and bulge. And underneath of its skin, you can see a face like moving around, like pushing out against the skin like this, kind of pushing out around and shit. And you can make out the face and the mouth and the teeth trying to get through the skin of it. And out pops another one of these little seedlings onto the battlefield as it just pops and erects another one of these suckers onto the field right beside it. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. I'll use one of these that died as the actual model. Just a minute, let me fix it because this one hasn't exploded. Okay, and it pops out to the side of it. Over here. It looks like it's got ichor and goo, like it got slimed on it and stuff, as the creature has like an open slit in its side now. It seems like something cut it open. It just kind of ejected out of the side of it. There are little vines and shit that are it's chomping at, disconnecting it from the actual creature that was just birthed from. Sickening looking shit that's happening right now. It just popped right out of the side of the thing. After that, it is going to move forward and begin to attack. It is going to be moving out of your Echo's range. Now, does it get opportunity just like you would? Okay, go ahead.
Does.
Advantage.
It's a 16 and a 28.
A 28 hits and breaches. Go ahead and do full damage to the creature as you see that opening and where you hit it last time, and you're going right through its defenses, straight on damage for the breaching strike. How much is it?
You said like max damage or just?
Well, no, you breached it.
Okay.
So you're not. It doesn't have any reduction against it.
All right. So 8
You're
points
right.
of slashing.
8. Nicely done. Okay. As that happens, and more saps out of it and things like it, you can see there's some kind of tendrils or some kind of weird like pinkish green vines that look different, like a mix between organic matter and blood vessels, kind of hold out of the wound and are moving around like the tentacles underwater. Like when you see plants that move underwater, they kind of move like this, and they're trying to reach around and mend up the hole that you just made in it. Okay? As it goes forward, it makes a tongue lash attack against Arson. Now, Arson, I'm going to say the only reason you moved that far, you used half your movement to get up. I just went ahead and took that from you because you were prone. Okay? It's going to do a tongue lash grapple, and if that's successful, it's going to chomp down on your ass. Its mouth opens wide to the point where its eyes are eclipsed by the rows of sharp teeth, and when it opens up, you can see that there's 4 layers of these teeth that go down into the throat of this creature. Okay? As it opens up, you're getting the smell of those mushrooms, but it's not the pleasant kind. Okay? You can see the debris and bits of bone and different pieces of mushroom and shit stuck between the teeth and stuff. This thing is looking nasty, my friend. Okay? Gonna go ahead and roll for this and see how we do. Holy shit, sir. 25.
Okay.
Is 25 hit?
It goes past my primary, but does not reach.
Okay, so but it is got around you. Okay, so this will be reduced because of your breaking point. This does actual piercing damage because its tongue is barbed like that. This is almost like getting wrapped up in barbed wire. Okay, so the damage of this tongue is 9 points of piercing damage. Your armor takes 9, and if it went past the breaking point, you would take the remainder. Okay?
No, that's low compared to my breaking point.
That's awesome. But that's a good
For
thing.
sure.
But the thing is, he does have a hold of you. And now I need you to do a strength check for me. And this is going to be a DC of... Go ahead, bud.
$23.
You pass. As it's trying to pull you in, you are still held by this thing. Okay? But as it tries to reel you in, and those teeth are starting to come at you and starting to cramp down, you're able to get your feet held in there, and you're able to grab onto the sides of this barbed tongue, and you're able to stop it. It's not able to draw you the rest away and the chow down on you, but you are still held by its tongue. Okay? You're grappled, but you are not restrained. That will end the creature's turn. This will go at the end of the initiative turn, and because Rook is right here and there's this echo right beside it, the creature is going to try to lash out and attack it. Okay? So as it does, we decided that it takes magical shit to be able to hurt your echo, correct? It gnaws and bites and tries to go through, and it's fucking with it. It's not intelligent enough to realize that it's not working. And these two are stuck in this weird kind of dance over here where it can't do anything to this. Okay? And now we start over with Finn. Finn will be up, then it'll be Azara will be after that. Then it will be Rook, then it'll be Arson. So start thinking about what you're going to do. Jeremy, send me a message. Arson, you send me a message. Let me know what you're going to do on your turn. If you vary from that very much, it's going to cost you an action point. Okay? Finn, I'll give you a minute here if you need to kind of figure out what you want to do, or you can just go at it, buddy. What are you thinking?
Well, I have the Blue Tail activated, so
It is activated. You have conquered the slow. Nicely done, bud.
he is going to leap over the wall beside Arson
Mm-hmm.
and go ahead and give it a couple strikes. Combo attack. 1,
Okay.
2, 3.
You
And
want to be up by the statue, or do you want to be beside Arson on this side, down here?
beside Arson on that side.
Okay, let me put you right so this makes sense. There you go. Now you're overlapping. Layers. They're cool, but they're not, you know. So go ahead and do. Now you're in the shadow of the creature, swinging up at it as he is held. Do you want to try to do something for the tongue, or are you going at the legs or the body? You want to make a call, or you want to just go at it?
He's just gonna go at it. He's not a called shot major like my other character. All
Okay.
right, so to strike, we've got with the sword, we've got 26, 22, and 23.
Okay, they all hit, but they do not breach.
Okay.
So it gets reduction against these as you're having a hard time finding some kind of opening or some kind of weakness. Every time maybe you went once for the tongue and the teeth and those side head spikes got in the way. Every time you went at it, you're doing damage. You're hitting the side of it, but you're not getting straight damage. What is the damage of your strike, sir?
Those are 1d8 plus 3 total.
So you want to do halvesies on them, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, so that'd be 7 each, counting as plus 3.
Absolutely. So 21 points of damage.
21 points of damage, and all 3 of those. Yeah, that's why he got 3, because he has 2 attacks.
That's awesome,
mind.
dude.
Also, on that third attack,
Yes.
as it whipped through, there's a hovering of force that looks just like the slash of that blade right over Finn's head.
That's outstanding. So you guys are noticing that right now. He's got this hovering reflection or image of a sword that looks like the one he just slashed a creature with, hovering above his head. That's killer. Anything else you got on this turn, Danny?
Yeah.
Okay. And as soon as the turn ends and this thing goes, start thinking about what you're doing on your next turn, okay? All right.
I'll be right back. I've got to run out to my truck to kids and chargers in school.
Oh, my. I couldn't help it. Kids and chargers in school. Oh, my. All right. So, Azara. Jeremy, roll me a 1d20. Let's see how badass Azara is. Higher the better.
18.
18's pretty badass. As this happens, she is going to run this way, bound over the wall. Okay? And she's going to run out here in the open. And when she does, she is going to start performing a dance. And as she is doing this, this is to be a distractive measure. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the true her now so we can see. This is what she looks like now. I love that we can do that shit for our tokens. That's cool for me. Okay? And let's go ahead and do, let's see. The dances. Okay, this thing needs to roll a wisdom saving throw versus a DC of So she's over there and she's beginning this dancing routine, trying to draw the attention of the creature. And she starts to move and spin in a certain way. Unfortunately, the creature has its tongue wrapped around Arson. It's got Finn right there, and it doesn't give her the attention that it thought. But what she does do is she takes the attention of this little fucker over here. This is going to be compelled to just be in awe of her and watching what she's doing, almost like a curious animal. Okay, it will be dazzled almost as if it has been dazed in some way. Now, you guys don't understand, but she's doing some kind of, it's almost like the hypnotic pattern spell. And it's having that kind of effect on this little creature over here. Okay? So Colby, keep a note of that for me, that this little creature over here is being dazzled. Okay? And as she is doing that, she is going to take her bonus action. Well, no, because I don't want to take from that. I think she would. We're just going to call it. We're just going to call it there. I think, because that was successful. She moved. This thing's dazed. Okay, that'll be the end of her turn. So now it is going to be Rook's turn, and Arson, get yourself ready about what you want to do. Okay.
I already sent you a message for it.
Okay. Awesome. Jeremy, I do not see a message from you, but that's okay. Do you know what you need to do?
There you go. I do know what I'm doing.
Okay. Go ahead and describe this to everybody else. And if this isn't what you do, I will tell you so.
should be able to hold pretty good to it.
Right on, man.
So, I'm going to use a bonus action. We'll do something new that nobody's seen me do yet.
Hey, I'm fucking about it. Let's go.
Rook realizes after Arson went down, this thing is up in our faces.
Oh, it's getting ready to eat Arson. Yeah, it's.
He kind of feels something.
He's trying to.
Something kind of well up at him, as he looks at this thing with almost pure hatred.
Okay.
And when he does, he is going to cast Hex. You place a
Alright.
curse on a creature that you can see within range until the spell ends, which is concentration, up to 1 hour.
Okay.
You deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage to the target whenever you hit it with an attack. Also choose one ability when you cast the spell. The target has disadvantage on ability checks made with the chosen ability.
And you're making this ability what?
Dexterity.
Make note of that for me, please.
Absolutely.
Disadvantage on dexterity checks.
Yep.
Okay. You have Hex. You're holding
Ability checks
concentration
made
on
with
it.
dexterity. So
Now, what is it? Is Hex an action or a bonus action to cast?
Hex is a bonus action.
Fucking A it is. You know what that means? You can swing however you like. Okay, so what we
So
doing?
once he puts that hex on this creature,
Uh-huh.
he's going to leap over the wall, run behind it. I'm taking 2 attacks, which I would assume would be at advantage since it is
Flanked.
well, within favor, since it is currently
With
focused
favor.
on there. Yes.
So that is a 1d20 plus a 1d10
Yep.
plus your attack bonus.
Here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So that is a D20 was a 7, 15 plus 9. 24.
24 hits, but it does not breach.
Okay.
This thing is made of some crazy tough stuff, and you're seeing that now.
And the next attack would be 27 plus 9, so 36.
That one breaches by more than 5, so you up your damage a bit. So go ahead. What is the damage? Let's do the first one first. This hits. It's not. It's reduced by its defenses. So what was the damage of your first attack? With the
First
1d6 added from the hex.
It is 7 slashing, 4 necrotic.
You are able to. You didn't breach it, but you meet the breaking point, and you were able to make a fully on damaging attack. Okay.
Okay. The next one is 8 slashing and 2 necrotic.
Okay. Now, what is your dice for your slashing? What dice you do normally?
Scimitar D6.
Okay. And did you roll it?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm going to add half of that to it. So would you roll in your d6?
That would be. Pull up my log here.
Okay.
For the second attack,
So what was it?
for the second attack, I rolled a 5 on the die.
Okay, add 2 to it. So that's 7 instead. So it's 7 plus what equals what?
Plus 3, so 10.
10 on that last one. Okay, this thing looks hurt. That one plunged deep into it. So I'm going to say the first attack, when you hit, and the dice tell the story, right? I love this. So the first one you hit, it didn't breach it, but you were able to get through its breaking point and dig into some of that fucking juiciness, right? You're getting some of that shit on. It spits out a bit of ichor and shit. I need you to roll dex for me real quick. Let me know what you get.
Dex check.
Yep.
Only a 6.
Okay, you take 4 points of acid damage.
Okay.
Or no, sorry, not acid. Well, no, it's acid. It's digestive, so it's acid, yes. 4 points of acid damage. And then, on the second one, when you're able to go through and you do a hell of a hit on it, that hurts it too. Do me another dex check, please.
19.
That one, you're able to avoid as you're able to pull up and it spits over to the side. You saw what happened the last time. So when you hit through and broke that opening, and that's why that second hit just went right in, dude. And when you get it, you're able to move to the side, and you see that shit shoot over your shoulder, that stuff come out of it. You hunk into the side of it deep. As it does, you hear its head go up, and it starts roaring a little bit. Let me make sure of something. I wanted to do a concentrate, like, you know how when a spellcaster is doing a spell and you make him roll concentration, I want to make sure that hit didn't make it lose its grapple on Arson. They don't do that in other TTRPGs. I think it should be done in these. Let's go ahead and do that real quick.
A good enough hit will make anything slack-jawed for a second.
Well, you know what, though, man? With that roll, fucking mom is hungry. Arson remains in grip. Like, it went to raise its head up, and, like, that tongue kind of pulled, and Arson's feet slid in the grass and shit. Like, it's kind of marshy, like we said, and the mud builds up over the top of his spectral boots. And he's just like, that tongue's not letting go for nothing.
Arson needs to figure out how to start being sweet real quick.
Something's got to happen. What else you doing, man? You used some movement. You did a bonus action. You did 2 attacks. Is that you?
Unleash an incarnation on the little guy.
Okay, outstanding.
It's already confused. I'm fucking with it.
Yeah. So
as he stands there, he's going to get into this attack stance.
You have advantage on it because it is dazed by Azara's performance down below, as we discussed. She's using that alluring dancing shit, so you have advantage on the attack against little fella. So just born, just a little bitty baby. Come on, man.
He's gonna phase through it.
Breathing. What do you got?
He's gonna phase through it. So I need a concept.
God, that's terrible.
It's already confused, and now he's just going to watch it just walk through it.
It's terrible. This is absolutely terrible. I feel bad for it. You should too. That's a big no.
All right. So it's going to suffer the effects of Chill Touch.
Okay.
Which Chill Touch takes 1d8 necrotic damage, which for me is 2d8. And it can't regain any hit points until the start of its next turn.
I don't think we're going to make it that far. What are you doing for your damage? You doing quick damage variant, or are you rolling?
I'll just go ahead and do quick damage for that one.
What is that? Tabsies? So what is it?
It'd be 2d8, so 8.
8 plus what?
For that,
okay.
It's just 1d8.
8.
I
and
think
because
so.
This thing just spawned and is newborn, 8 destroys the target, but we know what happens when they explode.
Mm-hmm.
And as it goes pop, the fire damage takes out Rook. Echo. Okay? So, with that, it goes pop.
That's fine.
It is no longer, and this fades out of existence, but greatly served its purpose. You're grinning like, Brian, you motherfucker. I just like how things work out. I mean,
it worked out.
It worked out real good.
What's funny, I think to Azara, she didn't see the echo come out on the other side. She just watched the echo walk in, and this thing just go poof.
Yeah, pretty much. So it just pops, explodes, and then it's gone. Okay.
Here we go. That's
that. All right, awesome. So moving forward, Arson. You are grappled, sir. You may choose to make attacks while you're grappled. You can choose to get the hell out of this thing's mouth. What you doing, buddy?
Well, just to protect Finn, he's going to yell Finn to back up.
Oh, free action. But how intimid? Are you saying this with persuasion, intimidation? Give me a sense of how this sounds coming out of him. Is he getting ready to do some feral shit, or is Finn like, oh, it's no big deal?
Well, Arson's going to cast Arms of Hadar.
He's starting to do some arcane shit. Finn, would you like to heed his warning and take a step back? I'll let you use the rest of your movement just for theatrics, because you didn't use it all. I'll let you step back or to the side if you want to give room for this. You're muted, my friend. Try it again.
Move 10 feet to the side.
Okay. You want to stay within range of it so it doesn't have an extra attack on you? Okay.
Yep.
And mind you, other games won't let you do that. I see no point in making you waste that movement. You've got it. He used a free action. I'll let you use the rest of your movement. So let's do that. Finn. 5.
I'll sacrifice my reaction from that
10.
round. Because that would be taking a reaction to his free thing and using my movement.
Yeah, I like it. That's perfect, dude. That's perfect. Okay, you're back there. I love the 3D effect. You got the shadow, you got the root of its foot like flying around in front of you and shit. All right. Arson, go ahead and do your thing, bud. Explain to me what this looks like and what I need to do on my end.
Well, within 10 feet of Arson, the tendrils of dark energy will erupt from 10 feet around me as me as the point of origin, and 10 feet out,
Okay.
tendrils will rise out and just batter that creature.
And you said it's dark tendrils?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, just a minute.
And that creature will have to make a strength saving throw.
Okay. Go back right there. All right, I'm going to do it. Strength, and it has disadvantage on dexterity, but not strength. Okay.
Mhm.
Damn it, Jeremy. Swing and a miss, baby. We're going to get there, though. We're going to get there. Okay, that is a 20 on a strength check. Does that beat your DC? You roll 1d20 plus your spell save DC modifier, and that's what your DC for that spell is. I got a 20. What'd you get? He's looking hard, guys.
That would be a 20.
That's awesome. So we're right there. Okay, so it is grappled or restrained by these.
It is.
Hey, it's your spell, bud. Come on. Come on. Cool.
No.
Damn it. You're
Um,
amongst pros. Right.
On a failed save, it takes 2d6 necrotic damage and cannot make reactions until its next turn.
It doesn't say anything about being grappled or anything. That's just something until its next turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to do quick damage variant, or do you just want to roll your dice?
I'll just roll.
Okay, do 2d6. Let me know what you get.
That'll be a 6.
Okay. They just now start to break through it, but you can tell its exoskeleton took the majority of that. Okay? But it will not be able to use reactions until its next turn. What else are you doing if your turn? You have movement. That's about it, but your movement, well, you don't, because you're still grappled by the tongue. Okay, is that it?
That's because that's what the second if was, because if I had another action turn, because I didn't know how it was doing, because I couldn't remember exactly what the new rules for the actions per round were.
Okay, all right. That works. That works. So now it is the creature's turn, correct? It's hungry, buddy. Strength versus a DC of 22 for Arson.
Nope. That'll be an 18.
Okay, so it didn't beat you by 5, but it beat you. Okay. As you feel the weight of this thing pulling against you, and you've done these tentacles and stuff like that, keeps it from moving around. It looks right and it looks left and just looks down at you. And once again, you can see the eyelids shut in sideways, like a crocodile's eyelids kind of would, as it closes its eyes and all those wrinkles on its head fold back, and it reaches its mouth open extra large and clamps down on you into darkness. Okay? You take... Let's just do quick version. 17 points of piercing damage and 3 points of acid damage. And you are inside of this creature. There's enough room for probably 3 of you in here. It is dark, it is burning, It is rumbling, and you are inside this thing. And I need you to do one more save for me. I want you to roll me a Constitution saving throw, DC 15.
$19.
You pass. You start to feel lightheaded inside here. And you remember talking about the side effects of what these things can do to people. And you start losing track of where up and down is inside this thing as you're going around like inside of a plant-built dryer machine. But you're able to fight that and stem it off for now. But the toxins and shit from the bite and being inside of the acid and stuff like that are trying to do something to your psyche. It's fucking with you somehow. And you're not quite sure why and how to fight against it. Okay? As you see a bulge shape that looks kind of like freaking arson inside this creature, okay, the mouth stays closed. So that's one good thing. But now it's going to finish its turn. From the backside, Finn, it's going to come across with a swiping attack with the tail. Just a minute. 23 to hit.
On me?
This is
Not
against
even
Finn.
close. I have the I get the +5 for my intelligence modifier on top right now.
That's awesome. So it didn't even come close, right? Can you roll me and tell me how it missed you? I want to know if you blocked it or you dodged it.
It
What
would
you
have
do is
been
So you take your dodge modifiers, and that's one set of numbers. Then you take your parry modifiers, and that's your other set of numbers. Roll 1d20 and tell me where it falls. This is what we call a reaction roll. In our
it would have been a dodge. It would have been
Okay.
evaded.
So do you want to say you hopped up over it or you ducked underneath of it?
I would say, being the way they move, it probably would have been almost bending at the waist and letting it fly over top of him.
So you neoed it. I get it. Okay. Comes at you once, comes with that, where it's going to spin on around the other way and it's going to try to get Rook with the other one.
Please hit me.
Natural 2. No. 10. Doesn't get you. Okay. Roll your d20. Tell me how it missed you. This is what we call a reaction roll. So you're going to take all your evasion bonuses, which is your boot with the feather. That's one set of numbers. Let's say it's 1 through 6. And then your parries are like 7 through whatever the rest would be. You roll 1d20 and see where it falls.
So I rolled a d20 and got a 20.
Well, if that's outside of bounds, you re-roll it.
Let's see.
You understand? I mean, you need to get within those. So let's say your dex is 1 through 5. That's 5 points. And let's say you have 6 from the other. So that'd be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you're looking
Yeah.
for a roll from 1 to 11. So you roll d20 and tell me where it falls.
So
That's a reaction roll.
let me see what points I've got. And let's see, I've
And
got.
you'll look at your boot, and that'll be the first set. And you'll look at your cross blades, and that'll be your second number. So what do
Yeah.
you got on evade?
I've got 4 points into evasion.
So 1 through 4, you dodged it. And then what you got on parry? Or blocking?
I don't believe I have anything for either.
Okay, your proficiency bonus would be at least on one of them there. On your
Mhm.
character sheet, you have it filled out where you have dodging for 1,
Yep.
which is on a boot, and then below that you have one that's a sword crossed. And that'll be your blocking that adds to your primary defenses. It's a minimum of your proficiency bonus.
I'd say that's all it is then, because I don't think I had put any additional points into blocking.
Okay, so 1 through 4 is dodging, 5 through 7 is going to be blocking. So
Okay.
roll 1d10. That'll work there. because you're below 10.
So I got a 5.
Okay, so you blocked it. So as it's coming around, now you get to do damage to it because you blocked it with a weapon.
Ew.
See what I'm saying?
Look at that.
So a reaction roll is important in that way. So go ahead and say how this looks and then roll your damage.
So I'd say that tail comes swinging through, and he's actually going to take the scimitar and kind of duck under it and use the scimitar's blade to kind of push it up and over as he kind of whips the blade across it.
Nice. And just give me your half of it. Quick
So-
damage variant.
That is going to be 3 plus 3, so 6 points for
Got it.
slashing,
Got it.
with the additional 3 necrotic.
Okay, this thing's looking really rough at when you do that. This necrotic damage, and this shit is really starting to take its toll on it. Okay? Danny, you getting ready?
Ready.
All right, buddy. After that happens, it's your turn.
Once again, he's
Remember,
going
got
at it with
disadvantage on dexterity.
Also, I have advantage on dexterity right now. But what's
Oh my
even
God.
cooler than that is
Quantum physics.
I'm flanking it now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me favor.
Yes, it does. 1d20 plus 1d10 plus your modifier.
I will take the. Wish I had one more d10. I will take the quick damage variant. The first one to strike will be a. That's a 30.
So I still don't know what you're doing.
Just 1, 2, 3 again with the combo attack.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Okay, so the first one is a 38.
Okay, that is a breaching attack, and your plus 10 turns that into a brutal strike. That is full damage on the dice.
All right, so that'll be 8, total of 11 points for the first one.
Yes.
And then 16, 27 plus 8, 35.
That is also breaching strike plus 5. So you're going to do damage plus whatever
would be-
whatever half of whatever your damage is on your dice, the halfway point, add half
4,
of that.
6.
So if it's 4, you
Okay,
add 2 more,
so-
you do 6.
6, so 9 on that one.
Okay?
And then the third one, which I forgot last time, but it's damage and a nat 20.
Just for the hell of it, tell me what the damage is. So
Okay.
what that is full damage times 2 of the weapon. So that's 8 times 2 is 16.
16, so that would be
Oh no, sorry, hold on. I want to make sure you understand. So you hit by more than 5, but not 10 on that one.
oh well, I didn't add the 1d10 for,
Oh, please do.
so 24 plus would be 30, 35 on that one.
Not quite. Would have took 38 to beat it by 10. But you beat it by 5. So 4 was halfway. You're getting half of that, which is 2 more, so it's 6. So your damage is 6, but since you did the 20, it's times 2.
All right, so that's 12,
12 plus your modifiers is what?
3, so that's 15 total.
15 total.
And how does that work on the end of the combo when if you get, because normally you get damage in half, but I don't know how that modifies out. It's not very often we roll a nat 20 on a end of that.
We'll get to it, but before we get there, paint me a picture.
As Arson did that, he steps underneath that, and as that leg goes by, it's just 1, 2, 3 stabs with it, but the
Yeah.
third one is right into the hilt, and then he rips it out, and then using his movement, he goes up to the next one, and then fires his bonus action to let that remnant strike go out for 7 points of damage.
Fuck yeah, man. And tell them what the remnant strike looks like.
That's that blade that was hanging overneath. And when he gets there, it's almost like you see that thing slash just the same way he did the first time he slashed it. See, it's like a mirror image of that strike.
Yeah. So he can collect strikes up above him that come down at his will depending on how. Yeah, that's fucking wicked, dude. As that
We
happens,
do one right now, but later on I can hold more.
as this thing goes to creep up and its mouth starts to open up, Arson, you're starting to see some daylight once again from inside of this freaking acid-like tooth-riddled hell that you're in, and you see the tail start to creak and move and stuff like this, and the petals seem to start to fold in as if it's dying and wilting, and they start to come in and crumple and die as the side of this thing starts to bleed out. I'm gonna need you to do me a dexterity check. You did all three of these attacks so quickly with puncture wounds. I'm only going to have you do one dex check because the weapon you use and the way you were attacking made this sound like very small openings but deep and deadly. I think that's fair. So give me your check. What you get?
So I get advantage on those with this, and that would be with favor now, the way we do it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh. 24.
That's outstanding. You see the stuff spatter all around, but you're able to elude all the acid and shit that seems to be coming out of this thing as you're poking these holes. They're indirectly, and it's almost like poking holes in a water balloon. You know where the stream's going to go. You know what I'm saying? And as you step to the side, that remnant blade comes over and slashes. You just kind of step to the side, and that shit sprays out in a curtain. And it crumples and dies. And you see the tongue kind of fold out like a long carpet with its razor sharp pieces on the side. And Arson just comes rolling out, covered in this acid-like ichor and smelling like acid, like acidity. Okay? In this moment, Azala runs up and she's grabbing off one of her sheer like silk pieces, and she's running over to Arson and she starts wiping off from around his face and in between his horns. She goes, "Are you hurt? Are you injured? Arson, speak." And she starts trying to clean you off as quickly as she can. In that moment, you hear in the distance to the north, that little fucker ran through that fence, and you can see him over here, and he makes one of those cackling sounds as we described before. And you can hear other little cackling voices echoing out past the clouds in that direction. But you also hear that deeper voice come out too. We're going to end there for tonight.
Nice.
Let me save this before I lose it. File. Save. Alright, so we've went in, we faced what we see what they've got going on. We're starting to understand the nature of the beast, so to speak. But there could be more. Well, we know there's more. We just don't know how much more, right, guys? I think we represented Zara pretty well. I think that goes through. Think about the conversation you guys want to have the next time we do this. Try to remember this moment as it's our starting point next time. You know what I mean? Arson, you would have been just now coming out of this creature, saved seemingly by someone you're not sure who. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Finn's used up so many magic points. Make sure this continues. So if you've used magic points, make a collection so we know how to. So these matter, right?
Yeah, I'm noticing with a wizard, magic points go a lot quicker than they did with.
Yeah.
When you're knocking off 7 of them with a spell.
Yeah, it does too. And mind you, you guys are what, level 4, level 5? Where are you?
Jeremy and I are level 5.
I think so. And
We leveled up.
Yeah. So it's nice because in regular TTR like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder and shit, there's only so many times you can cast that low level spell. You have so many slots. You have to use this and the other. I like this approach. You can just cast the shit out of a low level spell over and over and over. But if you want to pull out some big guns, it's going to take a chunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I do
I like the constitution checks, like when you do something big, you
Yep.
know, that's pretty wild. And you know, when you get to casting the big spells where they can actually cause damage to you, it makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna meddle with world altering forces,
Yeah.
consequences.
Exactly. And remember, when moving forward, we're going to have there be reaction isn't like taking your reaction. That's going to be called counteractions in the future, and we're going to have the ability to use block and parry as counteractions, which will take attacks off your turn. Moving forward, but a reaction roll is how you reacted to something. That's passive. So, for instance, when I am Jeremy rolling that reaction roll, that's to let me know if he dodged or blocked that passively, and see how that changed the narrative. If you would have tried to block that, but it would have been such a strong thing where there's no possible way you could have blocked it, you wouldn't have taken any damage, but it would have had an effect on you. Something would have came from that. But since Danny was able to dodge, and it fell within that reaction roll there, then I was like, okay, did you go up? Did you go under it? Did you matrix that shit? And that just adds theater to this. It adds a dimension to it and makes it make sense. You know, in D&D we talk all the time, and it's up to the DM in that case, not the game crafter, to just kind of make up what happens. Well, now you guys have an active role to play in that. Now I think that's huge. I think it's huge. So, yes, go ahead, please.
So, like, you guys know, like Finn's sword is kind of like a Tai Chi sword, and I picture him kind of striking a lot like they do in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. There's the circular movements of the sword, but a lot of stabbing motions.
Yeah. And that played in
I'd
really well with the shit coming out of the creature at the end too. That was awesome. Yep. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. Tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and end the video, and then we'll do a bullshit session and stuff, and then we'll hopefully get into this either next week or the week after that. Once again, and as always, I'm Brian Kynes over here looking for the stop recording button. I want to thank you guys again for joining in. I hope you enjoy these battle maps and everyone getting to kick a little bit of ass and the creatures that we create as much as we enjoy being a part of it. If there's something here you like and you want to know how to do this kind of stuff on your own, message me, send a comment on there, and I will get back to you as soon as I see it. And I'll tell you all the little weird shit I do behind the scenes to make this kind of stuff happen. Or if there's a question about a rule that we use that's weird and you like the way it works, all of us love talking about this shit. This has been a collaboration, and we like trying to make this game fun, realistic, and functional. So, once again, Brian Kynes from Jeremy, Danny, and Kobe, and all of us, you guys have a good rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you next week.